All right, guys, bring it down.
Basically, this is from Tiny Alice by Edward Albee, and it's about, the scene has a cardinal and a lawyer, and they're having to work with each other, but they hate each other. And it takes place in a garden, but I saw it more as like an office, because I just thought it'd be cool to see two people looking at each other from across a desk who hate each other. So I don't know, I thought of like center, but it's a very abstract play, so I didn't know if I should put it somewhere that isn't center, like what would make it feel like abstract or,
What are the kind of movements you haven't seen?
well, basically I was gonna try to play with levels, like, I don't know, I wanted the lawyer to sort of walk around a lot in the front and the cardinal to just sort of sit since it's like his place. But I didn't know, since that chair person's back would be to the audience, so I didn't know if that would be a problem. But you can have it like
This,
yeah, like sideways.
like, I mean, you just have to put a middle finger to them, like.
Okay, so that makes sense. I would turn it like over. Oh, that makes sense, yeah. So I was just worried about that. And, it's sort of like a power struggle between the two of them, so I was wondering how to play with levels, like if anybody had any ideas, like, I guess standing up.
At least in terms of where the chair is placed, I don't think it's a problem if it was where it was before, especially if it is a power struggle, if you put a lot of movement into it. Because if you have people maybe switch at some point, I don't know, something like that, you could really show the power if you can't fully see the person. I thought it might give you tools to play with that power struggle. Just something to think about.
Also, if you said that she's the lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
well, you said she was moving mostly anyway, so even if the back is turned, I think it's not that big of a deal. I think it also helps with the abstract part of the play, because in a normal, like in a realistic play, like normally the chair would be turned so that everyone can see the face. Just ideas.
And since we're in a thrust space, it's okay if our back isn't, like if we can't see all of it. Because, yeah, since we're using the thrust, it'll be okay. That's not something to get hung up about.
Okay, I was just worried about like a little bit sitting down, because I don't want her standing the entire time.
Right.
You know?
There's a thing, like, if you want to hide what she was on her face, if you want to do that, you can still have it like that, so it's not, it's like not understand what's going on.
That's true.
I don't know if that's what you want, but
Well, and it's sort of like a back and forth dialogue, it's sort of like a dance, like an angry, weird dance dialogue. So I was like curious, I don't know, with movement, is there something I can do with movement that would show, like, because the power between the two of them sort of flops back and forth, and I didn't know movement-wise, is there something I can do, like, one person stands, or, you know?
What you
What-
could be, you know, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Basically, I can't think of a lot about like levels, but I see it as you're talking about the power struggle. The attacker can be, looking down on or leaning into, and then the person that's receiving it, they might be on their heels. Maybe they're sinking in their chair, or like they're uncomfortable, or you know what I mean. I think it's more going to be about body language than like actual levels. I mean, but standing up, of course, is an option, but I don't see anybody, getting down on the ground or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of all I'm.
Yeah.
Also, if you wanted to move it a little bit over here, I feel like that might work out also. But that's just the way I see it.
So sort of like right here?
Yeah, like right there, like not floating, but like right there. Yeah.
I think also if you want to mess with the power struggle and like movement, I think one like exercise kind of thing to do is the yes no, but because I remember when we did it and it was like if one person moves, the other person has to move, something like that. You have to move like in reaction to the other person. That can help. Like if just like I don't know if one person is like physically like walking, like attacking, not actually like I'm gonna kill you, but like like walking towards the other one and the person backs up. Things like that can display a power struggle.
9 minutes.
Two quick things. First, shifting them rightward like that decreases the animosity and the tension between them a little bit, so I don't like, just something to consider. And how abstract are we talking? Like you said, it's a little abstract, but how abstract is
It's
a little abstract?
like the acting is realistic, but like the ending's just really weird. There's like a dollhouse that's a model of the normal house, and there's like a little figure in the house that's like walking around. It's like really cuckoo at the end, so,
Okay.
but the beginning's sort of more realistic, so.
Okay, that
Okay.
was my question.
Wherever the scene falls, I would focus on that and not let
And
the
not
other,
worry
not
about
let the
this.
other part of the play get to you on that.
Makes sense to me.
Because the scene as a whole is what we're really focusing on.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I'm a little less attracted to where it is right now. It's a little nicer in the center of Morose because they will be revolving around that desk. As far as like struggle goes, it would really depend on what lines are being said, and there won't be a proper way. There's just only probably good choices and better choices, and that'll be just a matter of like taking your actors and seeing where you can move on the lines and how the other can be affected by that. And I'll probably mirror or run away. There's a lot of different things you can do on the struggle wise. It doesn't have to be all based around the desk, but the desk can be used along with like levels and stuff. Who's sitting or standing, who's maybe leaning, or they could probably chase each other around the room.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe setting up maybe some sort of rule as to like they both have their own side, and maybe one of them breaks the rule.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
too.
so
is like
there's a lot of things
something
that you can work with. It really depends on the line and what's really happening.
Okay.
How confined are you to the space around the desk/chairs?
I kind of wanted to keep it pretty compact because they're being forced to work together. So I thought that would give that sort of feel like they're stuck in a room together and they really hate it. So.
Because I think distance between them and you can do this in a confined space as well. A distance between people also conveys a sense of power. So you can have someone walk away from someone. I think that's a little bit of what you touched on. So I was just curious of how big are we looking to do this? But if you keep it confined, distance between people is also a good
So
thing.
yeah, keeping it as compact and sort of, I guess downstage more is what I was thinking. But
So I kind of had this idea from Shelby's scene, but I feel like it would work for your scene as well. So you said it's about a power struggle, and I feel like if the cardinal is in like the power right now, like having them fight over that chair, I feel like you don't have to keep that as blocking, but having an activity where they both are trying to get that seat
yeah,
would
that
be
makes sense.
interesting in displaying that, how and like figuring out how your actors are able to convey that.
Okay.
One thing to think of in terms of where you put it is where it was at first. It was kind of like nice and in line with this. So then I feel like no one really, unless people were sitting here on the stairs, were getting exactly the back of her head.
Okay, so like line it up is what you're saying?
Right, because then like at least the people off to the side can at least see a tiny bit, maybe.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm liking the center of one too.
Yeah.
It was a good suggestion.
No,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand, like the intensity.
Also,
I was gonna say maybe like beat it a little bit, like eccentric,
Right.
so that like,
I'm still not seeing it.
hold on,
Sorry.
can I,
Visual.
I was thinking like, it's kind of in a way like this, like wider, I guess. Like, if the desk is here and then kind of do it this way, so that way they're both at kind of like an angle, and that gives them like more room to fight for power, I guess.
And then I feel like if you want him to start off in power, just within this, so that he's like the higher one.
Yeah,
Up to
yeah.
each.
That's what I was thinking. Does this look okay?
I like that too.
I liked it better before.
Yeah, I liked it better before.
I think there was a better power dynamic before.
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid it looks kind of like friendly, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look almost like
buddies filing paperwork together.
It's more like running a show.
Hey, don't as a general, don't forget to trust your instincts. You know, I mean, people are giving you some pretty good ideas, but I can kind of tell you got a way that you see it in your mind. I think you just got to play with it and figure out where you live at, and the rest will solve itself.
Okay,
True. You got 4 minutes if you want to use it.
4 minutes. sense.
I thought,
One thing, oh, go ahead.
I thought a desk like this, like a lawyer moderator room, you know, the kind of rooms you see people get divorced in, they have the long, like, boardroom type tables, and if they were sitting on the ends of a long table like
I
that,
like the smaller desks rather than,
oh.
I was sort of like.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like, yeah, it's just a choice whether you want, like, an actual desk that a lawyer sits at all day in his office,
Or
or
a table like that.
That could be really.
But yeah, that, what I was talking about was like a table this length from this angle would look good, but like being that far away from each other,
It would
and
create
sitting
some
that
tension.
far away, yeah, it's just a different
That could be interesting.
aesthetic choice.
Yeah, I think it could also be good because, like you said, you wanted to kind of confine it to the table, but because they're still at the table, it gives them distance between them, because obviously they don't want to work together, but they're still there.
That
They're
could
still
be-
in that space.
That could be interesting too, because like, I think you were saying the power thing where like the hovering, sort of, you could see it better too, yeah.
And a table that long set on an angle with the bomb looks longer, like you've created more of a perceived distance that's still unified because they're both at the table.
It seemed a little more abstract.
I like the way this looks, but even if you wanted to turn Orange Chair a little bit more in, you could like, you could open them up to the audience, but also still it looks like they're almost, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a little bit.
I was just gonna say something that could help with like the power struggle, as well, like kind of, like finding the individual character's pace or rhythm. If one's more fast-paced and one's more slow and methodical, that could also lend itself to like different types of power struggles and like why they're struggling, like more of the differences between why they don't get along.
I was actually thinking of that, like I saw one more as like slow and kind of just letting it happen, and the other one started talking faster, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on? We got
Not really.
2 minutes.
I'm good, that's all I needed basically.
Cool.